Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and whether you like it or not, we've got another Kingdom Death release. And this is actually kind of a special one, because not only do we have one, but two actual men, as in male models, for Kingdom Death. These are a rarity. Let me say that. Yeah, no, seriously. How often do you see guys on a Kingdom Death box? Not very often. So this is a resin version of the Screaming God armor. Now, we've had a resin version of the Screaming God armor before. We've had a resin version of the pinup Screaming God armor before. And eventually, at least as of the time of me filming this, we will hopefully someday get those plastic versions, but at least in the meantime, this ought to do me well. And I've got number one. Come on. As a school teacher, this is not the ISS 500. I'm sorry, but Mr. Poots, we're going to have to work on that penmanship there. For some reason, the card inking seems a little bit more vibrant than usual. We've got the usual postcard inside there. Face on the belly. Face on the face. Lots of faces. Face on the shoulder pads, maybe? Not sure. So this is a... wait a minute. This is resin, it looks like. I was going to say, is this a photo resin? And I don't even know. I have to give it a good sniff. That's usually the best indicator of what kind of resin we've got ourselves into. But no, looking at the casting gates, that looks like an honest-to-goodness resin model. It's been a while. I was just lamenting the fact with somebody, I don't even remember who I was talking about this with, that we have not had an actual Kingdom Death resin release in some time. There's that face I was talking about. Actually, there's lots of faces if we can get it focused. Nope, camera's going to be uncooperative. There's little heads on the gauntlets there as well. A very, very large axe for Batman. Axe Battler. I believe it has a pair of horns that go on there too. Because there's two pairs of horns right here. One even longer than the next. A large shield that is yelling at us. I never noticed that the shield had horns on it. Bit to clean there. That's a pretty large hand there. The fur cape. The actual helmet. Its own pair of horns. And finally, the body. I'd never noticed that. I probably had when they showed off the original resin casting of this, or sculpt, I should say. I believe this one was hand sculpted way back when. At this point, as we wait for the gambler's chest, I mean, most of this stuff has been sculpted anyways, so that shouldn't come as much of a surprise. So, minus a head, and not even fully standing upright. This guy is almost as big as the female one. Okay. I wonder what color I used on this. I don't even remember now. I'm going to have to do something similar. Alright, so cool. That is our Screaming God armor. In resin, no less. And this dude's name, I don't know. I don't remember. I want to say Gracchus. Nope. Grimmory. Now, Grimmory, this is new. Consecutive Spaces Living Glossary Update. That's a new one. I hadn't seen those before. He comes with 2 Gusk knives. Some nice stats. And that is definitely buildable. Now, these are beta cards. Interesting. And at least some more legible written numbers there. I have no idea how we're going to get this guy painted. Not a whole lot to go on there, other than big chocolate chips on his shoulders, or the equivalent of Kingdom Death pepperonis on a slice of pizza. What you got for us, Grimmory? Ooh. A leftover casting gate. That's exciting. actual sculpt looks nice. He feels pretty bulky, but I think a lot of it is his cape thing he's got going on. Again, scale creep is a thing in Kingdom Death. Look at that. Even on his base hunched over, he's just as tall as a fully upright female model. Of course, that is an, I guess, older kit. And in the bag here, we've got, I can't open it, 2 very thin knives, which I don't want to break. His Gusk knives. So, you know the routine. I'm going to get these figures put together. We'll grab a few other Kingdom Death models, because there's always a few here on my table, which hopefully is going to get cleaned off and expanded in the very near future, but it is what it is. And I'll be back in a moment. Sit tight. Okay, we got our Kingdom Death bros all put together here, but not like our Grimmy friend here. It took a whole lot of work. It's basically just glue his knives, and that's done. I don't know why, but this guy totally reminds me of Vampire Hunter D. Why is it? I think it's the stringy hair. I think it's the look on the face, the big blades, the fancy cloak, and I think that's the route we're going to head with him, in a kind of bluish, grayish color scheme. But it's Kingdom Death, so it's not like it really matters. Throw a lot of black at it and it'll be good to go. But he's really big. Where do you see how he looks like in comparison to other models we got handy? And then there's the Screaming God armor. The horniest Kingdom Death model yet. And literally, look at this guy. Horns a poppin'. I like it though. Very interesting dynamic sculpt. And I was actually looking back at the original hand-casted version and was surprised to see that the horns are a little different on the original. Now I cheated. I've got him pinned. There is no way it's not glued on, but I just don't want him flopping over if I set it down. There's no way I'm going to glue that on. Not until I've at least tried to get some paint underneath all that. That's why you'll notice that a lot of the videos I have, nobody ever tends to be attached to the bases, because I really like to be able to go back. I'm one of those people that if there's supposed to be paint on a model, I'm going to make sure there's paint on a model, regardless of whether you're ever going to see it or not. I'm a bit OCD about that. Can't have a unpainted area on the model. It's going to be really hard for him to get in base-to-base contact with anything, or if you've got, like, you know, any sort of Kingdom Death monster hanging around, that's going to be a challenge getting him up close. Whether or not it's the resin or when we get the inevitable plastic one as well. You can see they're almost as tall as each other, despite the fact that neither gentleman are actually completely standing upright. He's dashing forward, leaning forward. Grimdark here is, I totally forgot his name, you know, hunched over with that crazy cloak of his. And just to further emphasize how large these guys are, they're big. Grabbing a earlier plastic. And then again, I mean, the plastics aren't exactly any slouches when it comes to height either. A more recent Kingdom Death bro. Okay, well then it's really apparent. You can see he's quite large. And just to further solidify the point I'm trying to make, these are big models. And I'd love to zoom in, but when I do, the camera goes haywire, so I apologize. You're going to have to see a nice headshot from a bit of a distance. But I really like this guy. I really like that guy. And I really hope, because honestly, we should be getting 2 male, 2 female models with the Screaming God armor set that comes with the Screaming God expansion. Correct me if I'm wrong, when all is said and done. But there should be one that's actually standing up, because it should be 2 male and 2 female. And we've got one of the female, you know, already painted here. And we've got the pinup version already painted as well. I'm going to be really curious, and especially if the previous plastics are anything to go by, where they are quite significantly larger than the resin counterparts. It's going to be interesting. And I'm going to let you guys know, one of the reasons I really like this guy is he's got so many horns, because he's such a horny model. No, it's true. That's one of those aesthetic things of mine. That's like the secret origins of obscurities and miniatures. Like, I've had this Grebo troll sitting here in front of me for months upon months now, and I just can't take my eyes off it because he's got too many horns growing and attached to him. I've got a thing about that. Got him on his belt, got him on his shoulders, got him on his back, got him everywhere, got him on his arms. Got more horns and tusks than he needs. Yeah, I'm down with that. Same like that Yadaro Savage Orc Chieftain. I don't know where I put him. I was looking for him just for that reason. But anyway. So, good thing is, this guy being a photoresin kit, you will probably be able to see him sooner or later. And the fact that he's got game content, I know some of you game-only people go cuckoo for that stuff. I will leave you to it. And if you really like this model, eventually, someday, there will be plastic ones, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of disgruntled Kingdom Death backers saying, "Oh, I'll never do that again. I'm going to throw all this on eBay and wash my hands of the whole situation." Well, you know what? I'll let you. And I will be there snapping up all those extra variable modular 2.0 armor kit guys. And hopefully we're going to see something similar with those Screaming God kits as well. Me personally, I'm waiting for those the King's Death King armor. Man, I want sprues that. But that's just me rambling at this point, and maybe I can somehow summon the Pootsian deity that is in charge of those sprues, and maybe we can get some someday. Oh god, that would be wonderful. Anyway, I'll put a link down below if you've never seen the Kingdom Death stuff. Be warned, it is quite graphic and quite thick in the thighs if you like your ladies scantily clad, if you've never seen that stuff. And if you haven't, there's like a bajillion videos on this channel anyway going into that, so I'll leave you all to it. With that said, though, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.